So, if you like games like Four Against Darkness, Care Nathalis, Solo RPG, like pen and paper games, then we have a game that might be for you. This game is called Order of Eventide, and it's a pen and paper RPG for 1 to 4 players. It's a pen and paper um, system similar to Four Against Darkness or Care Nathalis, except it seems like it's maybe a little more streamlined and modern. So if you're somebody who maybe had difficulty with the crunchiness of those games, stick around. We'll dive into this. In this video, we're going to create characters for our party. And then we'll probably do a little mini series, go through a dungeon and check it out. But we'll start with character creation. So here's a little flavor background on what's going on here. Night falls on Valeria. A great evil has spread across the continent of Valeria, spawning vicious monsters and terrorizing the innocent. Your quest, with the help of Order Master Tariel, is to venture into Valeria's 6 regions and defeat the Master Behemoth found there. Doing so will lessen the hold darkness has over this land. If you are successful, you may be able to draw out the source of evil and end the nightmare that plagues this land. May the light be with you, heroes. All right, and then it talks about create unique heroes from 19 races and 19 classes. Join guilds and explore randomly generated dungeons across 6 diverse regions. It has easy setup. So that's basically the game. It does have a town area. It does have AI generated art. So for folks that don't like that, they may be turned off by it. I personally don't mind. I mean, it is what it is at this point. All right, so let's jump into it. So gameplay overview. Create 4 heroes. We'll go to page 20. Hero creation is really easy. Shouldn't take long. And if you haven't watched this channel too much, you know that I like to do things manually, or not manually, randomly. So we're just going to randomly roll up our hero. So we'll take a look at this hero creation. You do create a party of 4, just like Four Against Darkness. If you're interested in more about Four Against Darkness, I do have a playthrough of Four Against Darkness on my channel, and I have a playthrough of Care Nathalis on my channel. Sometimes things went well in those playthroughs and sometimes they didn't, but we'll see. All right, so let's check this out. At the beginning of your adventures, players will create 4 heroes. You may create more heroes at any time, but your party should consist of exactly 4. Each hero starts at level 1 and needs these things: a name, a race, a class, starting equipment, and roll for glowstone. So the only thing you really do you only need dice to roll for glowstone. And to keep track of your heroes, you can use the hero sheets in the back of the book, or they have pages you can download on their website. There are also some pre-made heroes in the back if you don't want to make your own party. I think back on page 214, they do have some pre-mades. You can just use those with sample character sheets and jump right in with those guys. And they have maps and other things. All right, so let's start. So name, no, race. And for every race, it starts on page 177. There's 19 of them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to roll a d20, and if we roll a 19, we'll do it again. And that's how we'll pick our 4 races. And then there's classes. So there's different tiers for classes. So you start out at tier 1. So it's going to be a fighter, a hunter, a mage, and an adventurer. And we will, based on what randomly races we get, I won't random these. I'll just do 1 of each class so we can see the gameplay of the different classes in the video. And then we'll pick whatever kind of makes sense to go into that class. All right, so with that, let's go back here to page 177. All right, and that is where they have the race anthology. And this is where the races are located: human, elves, half ogre, centaurs, Gnomes, fawn, half drake, tigerkin. They do have some interesting differences. A Talpock, Rockskin, Outlander, Apex, Merfolk, Silvera, Empyrean, Kinra, and a Dride. All right. So let us go. All right, and what we'll do is we'll just go 1 through 19. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And we'll see what we get. All right, so we're going to roll this D20. And let's see what our first race is going to be. A 3, that is an elf. All right, so we're going to have an elf. So we're going to go to our character sheet. We'll just write elf right there for now. And then let's go to the elf entry in the book and see what special abilities and things like that come along with the elf. So we're going to go back to 177. And we won't keep any duplicates. If we roll elf again, we won't do that. All right, so it says mage and hunter are the best archetypes. That doesn't mean you have to be a mage or a hunter. Health is going to be 4, attack 0, defense +1, and drain is the racial ability. So we're going to go back and look at our character sheet. So right here it says health. We'll put a 4 there. And then attack is +0. So base attack, you always roll a d6 in this game. So it's just a d6. And defense is going to be d6 +1. And then our racial ability is drain. So up here you have racial ability. And I'll write this out later, but for now I'm just going to put the word drain. In our racial ability, it says free action. We can spend 1 surge charge to inflict an enemy with drain. When an enemy with drain is killed, restore all weapon charges for the weapon that killed it. Elves are slender and dexterous in comparison to humans. They hold life as sacred and have little patience for those who upset the balance of nature. Their culture has mastered mystical medical practices that grant them unusually long life. All right, in a surge charge, in this game, you have what they call surges and blunders. Whenever you roll a 6, it's a surge. It's like a bonus. You use that to do special abilities or power your magical weapons. When you roll 1, it's a blunder. Enemies get bonuses whenever you roll 1s, but we'll get into that on the playthrough. All right, so that's the beginning. That's our first ratio selection for our party. 3 more to go. So you can see with that, we'll come up with the name later. It talks about starting equipment after we go through the classes and things. Let's get our second race that we're going to get. $15. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So our second race is going to be an Empyrean. And they have character sheets that are single-sided, and you can also get them where it has 2 characters on 1 sheet, so you don't have to have as many pieces of paper. But we went with that. Let's see, Empyrean. A, B, C, D, E. Oh, maybe it's in the back. It's not in alphabetical order. Here we go. All right. Our in second person is an Empyrean, a fighter mage archetype. Health 3, attack +2, defense -1. So let's go here and write Empyrean. EMPY. And our health is 3. Attack is going to be +2. So we can do our base attack is d6 +2. Our defense is -1. D6 -1. So he's easy to hit. And overcharge is our racial ability. Primary action is to spend up to 5 surge charges. You may perform additional weapon skills with equipped weapons, 1 for each spent surge charge. This consumes weapon charge, so he can use multiple weapon skills at the same time. Empyrean boys and girls are granted powerful abilities by bathing in a milky liquid as part of their tribal coming of age ritual. So we're going to put overcharge for his racial ability. And we'll have to decide if we want him to be a fighter or a mage, maybe. We'll see. So we've got Elf, Empyrean. Let's go back to our list. Party member number 3 is 15. That's the same, which means we'll re-roll that. And we got a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a halfling. All right, we're going to have a pretty interesting party here. Halfling, let's see. So we got, he can be a mage or hunter. Health 3, attack 0, defense +2. All right, so his kind of health is 3. Attack is going to be a d6. Base. Defense d6 +2. And his racial ability is Hearth Him. Reaction to spend 2 surge charges to give all heroes defense +1, or spend 4 surge charges to give all heroes defense +3. These curious little people have a fondness for small valuables, pleasant conversations, and food. Standing at about half the height of a typical human, halflings love helping others. All right, so this guy can help us defensively. Racial ability, Hearth Him. Oh, pencil. All right. And then our last racial selection. What's it going to be? 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is an Outlander. Let's see what an Outlander is. Outlander is the mage archetype. All right, so this has health 4, attack 0, defense +1. So race is out. Oops. Don't want to do that. Oh, I didn't write halfling. Halfling. There we go. Next race is Outlander. Okay, so he's got a health of 4, attack of 0, and defense +1. So health is 4, attack is just going to be a plain d6, defense is going to be d6 +1. And their special ability is Blaze. Free action, expend up to 5 surge charges to give yourself plus attack and plus defense equal to the amount of spent charges. Usable outside of combat. Okay, that seems pretty good. Racial ability Blaze. As their name implies, the origins of Outlanders remain unknown. These humanoids possess a special connection with arcane forces, granting them the ability to learn any number of languages. Even so, they prefer to stay silent behind their masks. Right, so that's going to be our Outlander. Okay, so let's go back to character creation. We rolled all the races for our 4 characters. And next we're going to pick a class. So it's the tier 1 classes are fighter, hunter, mage, and adventurer. We'll go look at the classes on page 153, and then we'll decide. When you're level 1, you have to level up to get the tier 2 and tier 3s, but we'll pick one of each. I think we kind of know what we're going to do, but let's see if we see anything different. All right, so we got a fighter here. This is our fighter archetype. His class ability is Might. Surges with melee weapon attacks allow you to make an additional attack that cannot surge or blunder. And the class passive is melee weapons grant +1 attack. A swarthy brawler who pummels enemies face to face. So let's see, who do we want to be our fighter? Outlander. I think the Outlander is going to have to be the mage. I feel like the halfling is probably going to be the adventurer, which leaves the Empyrean. Let's look at elf one more time and see what subtypes it had for elf. Remember, that was mage or hunter. Mage or hunter. And then what's the 4 ones to begin with? Fighter, hunter, mage. Okay, so the elf will probably be the hunter. Yep, okay, I got it. So let's have our Empyrean be the fighter. So our Empyrean, he's going to be our fighter for our first class. So we'll go to his sheet. We'll figure out his name in between sessions. All right, so fighter. And his class ability is might. With melee weapons, he can make an additional attack that cannot surge or blunder. And then let's see what else we're going to do here. And the class passive, melee weapons grant +1 attack. A swarthy brawler who pummels enemies face to face. So in this area of the sheet, we're going to put melee is attack +1. Okay. All right, so we've got our fighter. Let's see, do we need to do anything else before we... Archetypes, okay. Fighter archetypes use melee weapons, equipment. Choose one of the following. Okay, I think maybe we'll finish this guy out. And then we'll go to the next person. So it says, so we've got our archetype. We pick fighter. That's the race and class pairing. Fighter archetypes use melee weapons to overwhelm enemies with damage dealing attacks. They hold the front line against the forces of darkness. And then it says for equipment, when creating your hero, choose one of the following. A two-handed weapon attack, which gives attack +2, a one-handed weapon with a shield, a one-handed attack with nothing in the offhand, dual wield 2 one-handed weapons, or unarmed. There's no predefined list of weapons to choose from. The players have complete freedom to decide their choice of weaponry. For example, a hero's one-handed melee weapon could be a gladius, small scythe, crisp knife, etc. Whatever fits your hero style. See a list of examples on page 27. Feel free to experiment with different weapon configurations. So we can just pick what we want. There's a list of sample weapons on page 27. If I can get to page 27, okay. So they have melee examples. Gladius, crisp knife, Morningstar, Zweihander, Thunder Axe, Warhammer. Range examples, arcane examples that you can use. Runestone, Tomb of Flames, Dreamcatcher, Warlock Staff. If you want a list and you don't mind looking at a different book, Karen Nathalis has a random weapon table in the back. Where did I see that? And you could probably, if you wanted to roll on that table, which I may do, loot and spoils, mundane items, to determine what the weapon is. So like it has a random weapons table. I might roll on that just for fun to see what we would get. Okay, but back to Order of Eventide. So let's look at our Empyrean skills real quick. So right now his base attack is D6 +2. And his defense is D6 -1. So his defense is not that great. So if we were to give him a one-handed weapon with a shield, we would just be flat. So it almost feels like we should just give this guy a two-handed weapon and go with that. And then you would jot that weapon in the weapons and shield, because if he's bad at defense, maybe we just make him, he just has to overwhelm them with violence. All right, so I'm gonna roll on a D100 just for fun and see if I use this random table, what weapon would we get to add some flavor if I like it. 42. We go with a 42. It's a harpoon. I don't like. If we reverse that to 24, it's a glaive. Don't know about that. But right under that, there's a great axe. So let's say he has a great axe. So we're gonna go with his weapon, and he has. Oh, nice. There's swords here. Circle that. Great axe, and that's two-handed. And then in the equipment bonus, let me see. There's a sample sheet in the back, which I also like. They have like a little instruction sheet or sample character sheet in the back that's filled out with like tips of what to do. All right, so in the equip bonus, I will put +2 attack. +2 attack. Okay. And then for his attack here, his equipment, we can put +2. So right now he's going to get a total of +4. And that will be on his attack. Okay. So he's got his weapon. He's got his two-handed weapon. And then armor. Everybody kind of has the same armor. There isn't really any armor specifically in this book, but you have lunite shards, which are these crystals that you can use to power yourself up. So it says Eventide crest. Eventide crest, armor, and backpack. One second. I think I lost my dice view. Okay, sorry about that. So Eventide crest, armor, and backpack. The order equips each hero with an Eventide crest, a custom fitted set of enhanced armor, and backpack. Each hero's backpack has 10 slots to store any combination of up to 10 lunite shards and consumables. Lunite shards are crystals found in dungeons that are imbued with arcane power to help your hero survive. The Eventide crest allows heroes to equip up to 2 lunite shards at a time, and they take up to 1 slot. So those just give you bonuses. So after choosing your starting equipment, heroes may spend their starting glowstone, which is 2d6. This is the other thing it doesn't really call out. Like, I kind of wish they had like a little. Oh, okay, they do. Roll for glowstone. It's right here actually. That's 2d6. So we got starting equipment and then 2d6 to roll for our glowstone, and then we're done. That's all you have to do. And that would have been even faster if I didn't randomly like try to get a different, some ideas on the weapon. So let's go ahead and roll 2d6 for his glowstone. Glowstone is gold. It's like coin. It's the money system in this game. So whenever we say glowstones, we're talking about gold. All right. So our Empyrean fighter has 8 glowstone. That just goes at the top here. Essus is XP. As you fight Exes, you get experience. We're all going to start at level 1. Okay. And then this number is the hero order. So when we go in the dungeon, you have to decide what order your guys go in. And that's it. First guy is done. Okay. Let us go to, we have our Empyrean fighter created. We'll figure out the names for them offline. And then we'll just pick up the pace. That's our first class. All right. Second is our elf. So we got fighter, hunter, mage, and adventurer. So right now we're doing the elf for the hunter. So we'll go take a look at that archetype in the back, the class. Tier 1 hunter archetype. Counter shot is the class ability. Defense surges allow you to make a free ranged weapon attack against the attacking enemy. The attack cannot blunder or surge. Right, so class, elf hunter. Class ability, counter shot. Class passive, ranged weapons get attack +1. We'll do ranged +1 attack. An eagle-eyed ranger who excels at fighting multiple enemies at range. Next up is equipment. We're just going to pick our weapon, same as we did before. A one-handed weapon with nothing in the offhand, dual hand, unarmed. Okay, so we're probably going to pick, it's going to be a ranged weapon. On page 27, what do they list for ranged? Longbow, 2R. Chain sickle, 1R, light crossbow. Oh, that's probably one-handed weapons are represented by a 1 and grant attack +1. Heavy two-handed weapons, unarmed and free. Dual weapon types. So weapon types is melee RN1. So if we want it to be a one-handed ranged weapon, like a chain sickle, a light crossbow, or throwing knives, we go with the 1R. If we want it to be two-handed, we go with the longbow, portable cannon, or throwing glaive. And let's see, is there any benefit for why we would want it to? We have a one-handed, two-handed ranged weapon with a +2. Their defense is D6 +1. Attack is regular. I think we're just going to go with the longbow with the attack +2. We can always experiment with 2 different weapons. So let's do that. We'll go with the longbow. So we will circle this, color this in, longbow. And that's going to be a two-handed. We'll put a 2R for range and attack +2. So they've got their D6. Their equipment is giving them a +2 bonus. And then we'll roll their glowstone. So glowstone for the elf is, they also have 8 glowstone. All right, they're complete. We'll get the rest filled out later. And we've got our halfling next. Our halfling, we're going to go with the adventurer class. And we'll go look that up real quick. Adventurer has luck. Surges with attacks grant glowstone equal to D6 plus level. And the class passive is behemoths grant you +1 essence. Behemoths are kind of like the boss monsters in 4 Against Darkness. And essence is experience. So class adventurer. We're going to write adventurer. And class ability luck. Class passive. Behemoths +1 essence. Equipment. This guy is probably going to go with one hand in shield or one hand in free. All right. If he goes with one-handed with shield, he'll get +1 free action. Is he going to need that? Let's go with one-handed weapon with the shield to start. So our halfling, he's going to have maybe a sling and a shield. He doesn't have anything with an attack, so it could be ranged. Let's see. One-handed weapons grant plus shields can be equipped. The basic shield provides defense +1. Dual wielding. He could dual wield. He already has. He could dual wield 2 knives. Any hero may equip a one-handed weapon in each hand to dual wield. This changes their base attack to 2d6. Only activate 1 surge and 1 blunder per attack. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll have him dual wield. So he's going to get 2 crisp knives. We'll go with that. Crisp knife. Crisp knife. And that is going to be attack. I don't think that gives him any attack +1. So both of those are attack +1. And he doesn't get a +2 bonus. You just roll 2 die to represent that. So you have more chances to get blunders and more chances to get surges. But you can still only get 1 surge or 1 blunder per attack. So equipment is going to give him a +1. We'll see how that works out. And then let's see how much gold our halfling is going to get. He's starting with 5 glowstone. So he definitely needs to go on some adventures. And then lastly, our outlander will be our mage. Okay, let's see, mage archetype. Restores his class ability. Surges with arcane weapon attacks recover 1 health for any hero. Okay, that's good. So it's going to kind of be like a pseudo healer. Class ability is restore. And arcane weapons grant attack +1. Arcane +1 attack. All right, and then we'll choose his equipment, which it feels like it's going to be one-handed weapon with a free action. Let's see, on page 27, arcane, runestone, dreamcatcher, warlock staff, spectral blade, moon staff. Let's get him a runestone. We'll just do one-handed so that we can make sure we've got everything kind of covered. So his weapon is going to be a runestone. And that's one-handed arcane, attack +1. And his class passive gives him a +1 attack, which means he's going to get +2 here for his equipment. And then we'll pick his glowstone, and the party will be created. So 2d6, 11 glowstone. It's good for him. That's enough to join the faction. Okay. Oh, 11. Sorry about that. I didn't go to the camera, but he got his 11 glowstone. All right. So we have just completed our party creation for Order of Eventide. Our next step, in the next video, we will return here and we will go ahead and go to town. Town is called Kara's Vale, and you buy an equipment that we need before we roll to go on our first quest. I'll see if I want to get any type of visuals to kind of help us with our playthrough. And that is going to conclude our session for today. All right, so we got our 4 characters built. We'll get ready to take these guys on a pen and paper adventure. And hope this helped anybody who has questions about character creation for Order of Eventide. It's pretty straightforward, simple. So far, it's not uncrunchy. Like it has a tiny bit of crunch to it, but it's definitely more streamlined than 4 Against Darkness. If anybody had trouble with that, they might have a bit easier time with this for character creation. All right. I think that's going to be it for today. We see you next time as we go into Kara's Vale. Depending on how long the Character's Vale video is, we'll see if we start the adventure in that video or if we just separate it and do the town review and then have the following video actually going out to explore. All right, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. If I made any mistakes, feel free to let me know in the comments and then I can pin it to let folks know if there's any changes. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.